Am I the a-hole for telling my father and his girlfriend that the gift she brought was creepy and invasive? I'm expecting my first child, due in February. This baby will be the first grandchild on both sides of the family, so naturally, everyone is over the moon about it. There's been an outpouring of love and excitement, with family members offering advice, gifts, and emotional support. However, not all of this attention has been easy to handle, and one particular situation has left me feeling conflicted. My father's girlfriend, whom we'll call Lena, not her real name, and I have a decent relationship, but we're very different people. We don't share many common interests, and while there's no hostility between us, she can sometimes be a little pushy, which has kept us from being especially close. She's outgoing, opinionated, and loves anything trendy, while I'm more introverted and prefer to keep things private. These differences have created a bit of a gap between us, but we've always managed to get along reasonably well. One major difference between us revolves around influencer culture. Lena absolutely loves it, whereas I'm not a fan. Ever since I announced my pregnancy, she's been bombarding me with Instagram posts featuring influencers discussing their journeys through pregnancy, childbirth, and motherhood. I know she means well, but I find influencer culture to be shallow and overly curated, so her frequent messages often feel more like pressure than support. A few months back, one of Lena's favorite influencers gave birth and decided to film the entire experience. She posted a sentimental but amateurishly edited video showing her baby's birth, complete with her whole family watching from outside the delivery room and country music playing in the background. Lena shared this video with me, and I clearly remember telling her that it wasn't something I'd ever do. I emphasized that I wanted my birth experience to be private and intimate, with only my husband present. Despite my comments, Lena seemed fixated on the idea of documenting childbirth, often bringing it up in conversation. I figured it was just something she was passionate about and didn't think much of it, until Christmas. Fast forward to Christmas, my husband and I celebrated at my cousin's house with the rest of my family. During the gift exchange, Lena handed me an envelope. Inside was the business card of a professional videographer. She enthusiastically explained that she had hired him to film my delivery. I was completely caught off guard. I cannot fathom having someone record me while I'm undergoing a medical procedure, especially something as intimate as childbirth. I've been very clear from the beginning that I only want my husband with me at the hospital. No one else. I appreciate that Lena was trying to do something thoughtful, but the idea of being filmed in such a vulnerable state made me extremely uncomfortable. Not wanting to embarrass Lena in front of everyone, I thanked her for the gift in the moment. I didn't want to make a scene or hurt her feelings, especially since she seemed genuinely excited about the idea. However, the more I thought about it, the more uneasy I felt. My husband also found the gift inappropriate, and we both agreed we needed to address it. The next day, my husband and I went to lunch with Lena and my father. During the meal, I gently explained that while I truly appreciated the thought behind her gift, I didn't feel comfortable having a videographer present at my delivery. I reassured her that she didn't need to get me anything else for Christmas, but I'd really prefer if she didn't go through with hiring the videographer. Unfortunately, this didn't go over well. Both Lena and my father took offense, and what started as a polite conversation quickly escalated into an argument. Lena became emotional and even started crying, saying she couldn't understand why I'd turned down the chance to create such a beautiful memento of my child's birth. I tried to explain my perspective, emphasizing that having someone film me in such a vulnerable state felt invasive and uncomfortable. I also pointed out that this wasn't the first time I'd mentioned being against the idea. Lena seemed genuinely hurt, though, and I started to feel guilty even though I knew I wasn't in the wrong. My father, however, sided with Lena and said my response was rude and hurtful. He even told me he was very disappointed in my reaction. He implied that I was being ungrateful and selfish, which stung, especially since I had made my feelings about privacy very clear from the start. Meanwhile, my husband has been completely supportive of my decision, and most of my family agrees with me as well. They've reassured me that childbirth is an incredibly personal experience, and that I shouldn't feel pressured into sharing it in a way that makes me uncomfortable. My mom even mentioned how relieved she was that I stood my ground, as she also felt Lena's gift was intrusive, even if it was well-intentioned. Despite this, my father's disappointment has been weighing heavily on me, and it's left me questioning whether I handled the situation poorly. I keep replaying the argument in my head, wondering if there was a better way to approach the conversation without causing so much tension. To make matters more complicated, Lena hasn't stopped bringing it up. She sent me several messages since our lunch, reiterating how special it would be to have the birth filmed, and how much she regrets that I won't even consider it. She's also shared more influencer videos, as if trying to convince me to change my mind. I've responded politely but firmly, reminding her that my decision is final. Still, it feels like the issue isn't completely resolved. The whole situation has made me reflect a lot on boundaries. I understand that Lena's excitement might be driving her persistence, but I also feel it's important to establish limits, especially as I'm about to become a parent. If I can't set boundaries now, how will I manage them once the baby arrives? It's something my husband and I have talked about extensively, and we both agree that this may just be the first of many situations where we'll need to stand our ground. At the same time, I don't want this disagreement to create a permanent rift in the family. I know Lena and my father are excited about the baby, and I want them to be involved in our child's life. I'm hopeful that, given some time, they'll come to respect my wishes and move past this misunderstanding. For now, I'm trying to focus on preparing for the baby's arrival and maintaining a peaceful mindset. Pregnancy is stressful enough without family drama adding to it. I'm doing my best to stay grounded and remind myself that it's okay to prioritize my own comfort and well-being. I also can't help but wonder how this will affect future interactions. Will Lena and my father continue to pressure me over other parenting decisions? Will they respect my rules about visitors, feeding schedules, and bedtime routines? Or will this conflict set a pattern of them pushing back whenever they disagree? These questions have been on my mind constantly, and I know I'll have to prepare for more tough conversations down the road. I'm also concerned about how this situation might affect my relationship with my father in the long term. He and I have always been close, but his reaction to this issue has made me feel misunderstood and unsupported. I hope we can find a way to move past this without lingering resentment, but right now, I feel like there's a lot of tension that hasn't been resolved. So, am I the one in the wrong here? Or was I justified in setting this boundary for such a deeply personal moment? Reddit comments. NTA. Birth is a deeply personal experience, and you've been clear about your boundaries. Lena's gift ignored that, and it's not rude to say no to something invasive. Your comfort and privacy come first, not her feelings. NTA. Do not tell them when you are in labor, and tell the hospital that both of them aren't allowed in the delivery room. I can see Lena whipping out her phone, and if your dad don't got your back during a moment that is purely yours and your husband's, then he can wait outside too. NTA. Tell Lena to hire him to film her next pap smear as a beautiful memento of her reproductive health and post that on her socials. I'm getting much younger second wife vibes here. NTA. Giving birth is very private, and her opinion doesn't matter at all. It is also very creepy. Like, would she and your father want to see the video? Just go LC with them for a while. And be careful, she might post pictures and videos of your child to social media without your consent. NTA. As my uncouth BFF is fond of saying, he's just trying to keep his parking pass to the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile parking garage. Yes, it's an invasive and super creepy gift. What the holy hell? 100% you are NTA OP. And as a matter of fact, you handled the entire situation very properly. You thanked Lena in public but gently refused the gift in private. This is the way. Your father is wrong, and he is acting C***NT struck in the bargain. Ignore him, and now you know. He doesn't have enough grasp of social norms to understand that this gift is pushy, overbearing, and dictatorial. It's a shame that he's picking his bed warmer over his daughter and future grandchild, but I've seen this before. Stay strong, OP. If you hold firm on this very reasonable boundary, hopefully this will nip a lot of Lena's nonsense in the bud. It's pretty clear that she's infatuated with what she sees online, and will try to jam you into that mold, whether you want to or not. And your dad is backing her up and willing to trample over your emotions and boundaries to keep her happy. So sorry you are dealing with this, OP. Ignore. Please focus on yourself, husband, and the new baby. And congratulations. May your pregnancy be healthy, your labor be short, and your delivery be easy. NTA, you are completely within your rights to refuse this gift. Childbirth is an intensely personal and often vulnerable experience. Lena massively overstepped by assuming she could hire someone to film such a private event without your consent. It's okay to set boundaries, even if it upsets people. Your father is wrong to prioritize Lena's feelings over your comfort and autonomy. You're not obligated to accept a gift that violates your privacy. NTA. Does Lena have any kids? It sounds like Lena has not ever given birth and has watched too many Hallmark movies. Why was she crying? Is she always overly emotional? I don't think she meant to be creepy. It seems like she has a very fictional idea of what childbirth is like. Perhaps you could use the gift to videotape your first day home after the baby is born. Some people do choose to videotape the birth of their children. However, that is a highly personal decision. I can't imagine anyone would ever want to see that movie. NTA. Giving birth is not a spectator sport. Lena can F***CK all the way off, along with anybody who doesn't respect your wishes in regard to your pregnancy and birth. There is nothing in my memories of giving birth to 2 children that I'd want on film, until we were both settled and rested. The nerve of some people, grumbles an old lady. NTA. 1. The whole influencer gender reveal / birth video shit is so weird. 2. You told her you didn't want this prior to her giving you this business card. I'd tell her if she didn't cut the shit you will ban her and your father from visiting at the hospital. In reality, my guess is she wants you to do a birth video so that SHE can share it and then comment on how this was her gift to you. This is why I hate social media obsessed people. It's never really about anyone else but themselves. I have said it once or 100 times, and I'll say it again, childbirth is not a spectator sport. There is no reason for anybody to be in the delivery room except those people the mama wants / needs to support her, that's it. If mama wants a memorial video, she can ask one of her support people to record one. Having a non-medical perfect stranger in the room sounds awful. Not to mention, the birth itself, it's kinda gross. I love the pics I have of my kids on the days they were born, but I would never want to watch it again on video. Yuck. NTA. And I think your dad's comment is more about his GF's feelings than thinking about what she wanted to do. NTA. Like, who TF thinks it's okay to film someone giving birth without them enthusiastically agreeing? It's a medical procedure, not some influencer moment. Your dad and Lena are way out of line for trying to push this on you, especially after you already said no. It's your body and your baby. You get to make the decisions. NTA. I am an absurdist and like to wring out all the faulty logic for people like this when necessary. Here is how I would follow up with the family members who want you to have your baby's birth recorded. Have the same group of people over for coffee / dinner / etc. Ask them to answer the following questions. Do you want close-ups of my perineum tearing, or should that be edited out? Should any bowel movements that are likely to happen during the delivery be included? If there are complications during the birth, should those moments be included or edited out? Should there be a theme, like a dramatic, heroic arch of tension build up while you are pushing? Do they need your nether regions well lit? Who wants to stand where in order to get the best view of the baby passing through the birth canal? Will the videographer be there to capture every moment, no matter how long your labor might last? If I experience unexpected medical complications or the baby, or I have a life-threatening emergency, which details would you like included? In the unlikely event the baby or I pass during birth, should that entire event be documented? Put these questions on paper with room for them to answer, then read them aloud. Then ask your father, Lena, and anyone else who is pushing for the recording of the birth to please stand up and drop their trousers, spread their legs, and expose their genitals to the family for the same amount of time they think labor and delivery might take. Yes, this is utterly absurd, and they need a clinical wake-up. I haven't seen any influencers' birth videos, but I highly suspect whatever your SIL watched was highly edited and possible fake in a whole host of ways. NTA. She is being extremely invasive and pushy, and that behavior is unacceptable. When you go into labor, do not let them know, and tell anyone who does know that it must be kept a secret. Tell your dad and his creepy invasive girlfriend the day after the birth or after you are home. When they are upset at missing the moment, tell them that you had to protect yourself from them and prevent them from sneaking in a photographer or videographer. Limit the photos given to dad and GF and don't let them take any, because they will be plastered all over social media. NTA. Your stepmom can back off and jump off a cliff for making your child's birth about her. I'm guessing she has no kids of her own and is trying to live the experience through you. That doesn't excuse it, but does explain it. Doesn't matter if that's the case or not. You don't want to do it, so you won't be doing it. And in case she goes ahead and hires the videographer anyway, she's just going to waste her money. The medical staff can and will kick out and ban any and everyone you want at any time for any reason. I've known guys that were being poor husbands at the time of childbirth, and they were removed. If they try anything, the hospital also can and will inform police. It's a serious medical procedure, as you have mentioned, and hospitals treat it with the gravity and respect it deserves. As for your father, remind him that nearly every woman pees and poops herself during childbirth. Copious injuries occur regularly even when things go right, and if the filming is done too intimately, he will know every single aspect of your sexual anatomy. That might make him back off. If he doubles down, it might be time to tell him he's out of place, and just because his wife wants something, it doesn't mean she'll get it, especially when it infringes on the consent of others. NTA, it's your birth. Yes, my parents also filmed mine, but it was always my grandfather who filmed me and my siblings. Considering how she talks about influencers, I'd also be worried that she might share the video with her friends and acquaintances. As I said, the only person who has a say in whether the birth is filmed or not is you. If she doesn't understand that, it's her own fault. Also, be cautious when you have your own child. I wouldn't put it past her to post pictures or videos of you and your baby online. NTA. It seems like more is at play here. Can Lena not have kids? It seems like her emotional REQ tie-in doesn't make sense, so I am curious if something else is happening. You get to choose what you are comfortable with, and it isn't her decision, nor should her feelings come before yours here. Would you be able to use the gift for something else? Like the family meeting the baby for the first time? You literally told her that you'd never do that, and then she turned around and did that. That's wildly inappropriate. I would make sure the hospital knows to keep anyone, especially her, away from your delivery room. It low-key sounds like she's trying to live vicariously through you, and she's mad it's not working. Dad probably doesn't want more kids, and is mad you're not letting her so she can somewhat experience it and stop asking for herself. NTA. Your father is currently thinking with the head that is directly in front of him, and not the 1-3 feet above his ass. He is too busy considering Lena's reaction, when he should be questioning why she is so insistent on wanting to watch a medical procedure and having a stranger in the room videotaping said procedure. The simple fact that your family agrees that this is an invasive gift and that Lena had to use manipulative tears to get her way is a red flag for your father. Does Lena have children, Opie? How old is she? Is there an age gap? I wonder if she is projecting something onto you. Your father is of a specific age and might not be able to give her kids, so she may want to vicariously live this moment through you. Have social media and photography boundaries in place ASAP, Opie. If Lena cries over a gift, I can't imagine the manipulation and coercion she will use to post unwanted pictures and videos online of you and this baby. I would suggest you meet with your dad and have a good heart-to-hear conversation. Include the amount of times Lena has overstepped your boundaries and ignore you saying no. If he still feels that way, sorry, it won't change. I am hopeful he will wake up and realize that you are correct. This was a very weird gift. Best of luck. NTA. I am not comfortable with not only being filmed, but being filmed by a male stranger, while my genitals are on display being destroyed, and I may or may not shit myself. I could wind up having complications because of the stress that will bring me. But you want to make a cute moment? This is supposed to be about me, Dad, and Lena. Not you and your bullshit. Do not offer me influencer anything. Stop sending me influencer shit. If you can't maintain those very minimal boundaries, then I'm going to disallow you to even be involved in this child's life, because now I'm going to be worrying about my baby winding up on the internet for cute influencer moments. No. Either back off, or I'll have no problem going no contact. NTA. You already told Lena that videoing giving birth had no appeal to you. Her unwanted gift is a manipulation tactic designed to make you feel obligated to do this thing you do not want to do. Think about the guilt and obligation manipulations her/your dad's arguments contain. She spent so much money. So her unilateral decision to hire a service you do not want now obligates you to use that service despite the violation of your safety, privacy, autonomy, and comfort that entails. You should think and feel the way Lena wants you to, rather than as you do. That's a gaslighting tactic to make you unsure of the validity of your own thoughts and feelings. Lena uses a bandwagon argument to create a false authority with whom you must agree, those countless influencers who love videoing their medical procedures. Your failure to appreciate, comply with, the unwanted gift is hurtful to Lena. You should feel responsible and guilty for hurting her feelings by being different than she demands. The cure is, of course, for you to violate your boundaries to fix her feelings. This is coercion and manipulation started by Lena, but also supported by your dad. You are not his extension or resource for him to share with Lena. He nor anyone else has no power, right, or authority to ignore, invalidate and overrule your boundaries and autonomy. It's disgusting that Lena is putting so much pressure, manipulation, and coercion into her already tenuous relationship with you. She doesn't accept or respect you. She actively tries to violate your boundaries, creating conflict to increase the pressure you feel. Lena is an unsafe person for you. The healthy response is firmer boundaries, much more restricted access to you and information about you. This would be enough for me to go no contact with her. She has grossly, and to your harm, abused the access she did have. As for your dad, you could see him when he is not with Lena. Tell him you want nothing to do with her. Limit the details he gets about your life. Assume he tells Lena everything until and unless you see real sustained changes in his behavior. As for now, he is enabling and supporting your abuser.